Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, the playoffs of ESL Open Cup number 49. We're almost at 50. Korea. And if you don't recognize these two, oh goddamn. Well, that's because we're in the fog of war, but otherwise, once Jimmy figures out how the camera works, which you think we would have by now, but anyways, in the bottom left, it is Rogue, the recent GSL Super Tournament Slayer of Maru, but was shield bashed by stats. Quite a turnaround from 3-0 Maru to getting 0-3 against stats. Who's a very different player than this opponent. First, of course, Zest, the wild card. Like, sometimes he'll play more macro-oriented, defensive, but sometimes he very much won't. 50 Shades with Glaives. That's him. We're working Void Rays in all over the place now. There's actually, like, Void Rays are... apparently the Silver Leaguers were right all along. Void Rays are in. Invest in Void Ray stocks today. The Prismatics are aligning. And the Stargates are warping in Void Rays at a rate never before seen since Wings of Liberty. That discount and build time buff have been paying off. Stats, that's kind of like when Stats played against Rogue, and I bring this up because it was like a week ago now. Or whenever you're watching this in 2026, thank you for subscribing and being one of my first 100 million subscribers. If you get your entire family and Proto family to subscribe today, we can work towards that billion mark. Thank you. But Stats essentially just sat there and let Rogue try to kill him. And now that's how Stats do. The Shield of Ire is not a nickname out of thin air. And Zest is probably not going to follow that trend. But Rogue obliged. Rogue kept trying to kill Stats, and Stats just kind of didn't die. And eventually that ended in a way more cost-effective game. That went to Sky Toss. And now, with the Stargate on the way, I wouldn't be surprised to see... Now the question will be, is it Oracle Void Ray? Is it straight into a Void Ray? Or is it something else? I think right now the prevailing wisdom is Void Ray into Oracle or vice versa, depending on how much you want to deny scouting. And it is best of 5 as we get further into these ESL Cups, and there's real money on the line. Like, you might just think, oh, it's a weekly cup, whatever. Winning it nets you $200 and some ESL points that can make it a lot easier, or just straight out qualify you for the major event. So that is why essentially some of the Tier 1.5 and Tier 2 players, I mean, no offense, like Rogue and Zest are not Tier 2 players, but they're not shoo-ins for necessarily the larger tournaments. So getting ESL points, and of course, a pretty good paycheck. And since the Open Cups are not region locked, that means there are, I don't know if anyone's completed the Triple Crown yet. I know Solar was close, I know Scarlet was close, but the Triple Crown is when, over the course of the 24 hours throughout each Monday, by the way, sign up at ESL Gaming to be a road bump for either of these players. It's when you participate in the tournament on each server, which are about 8 hours apart, and takes 4-ish hours to complete, depending. So that means you have a full day of StarCraft, competitive StarCraft, against some of the best, like Rogue or Zest. But occasionally someone decides to brave it. By the way, it's a Void Ray, and then an Oracle, which just knocks out any opportunity to see the Wait up! Hello? Hello, sir? I'm here. Yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure. So actually, I don't know the math on this at all. He goes straight for the drowned. Target's down. It feels like... Is this... Zest is getting real cute over here. Like... Was that worth it? I don't know. I guess. He lost a lot of HP. Got 4 drones, but... I think so. Also, the fact he was willing to commit to that. And it's gonna be Void Rays. I'm glad I brought up... I was like, am I spending too much time talking about a series of a completely different player? No, Zest is taking a cue right out of that book. Void Race, I expect. Are you gonna warp in? Stressing me out. I don't know if that adept... Oh, he wait. Oh, that had to be intentional, right? Like, 100% he waited. He tried to make sure those Zerglings thought they could get in, and then shut the door permanently by killing them. Double Void Ray. I'm no longer one to criticize the Stargate builds. They have been proven in their effectiveness. I am now throwing my support behind the Void Rays. The legacy of the Voids. And it forces out... There's been before, out of one Stargate, if you're just incrementing out one at a time. There's been plenty of early Queen pressures. Rogue tried that against stats. Essentially, 2 or 3 Void Rays are painful to deal with, but it doesn't rule out the possibility of something like a Roachling attack. Whereas 2 Stargates of Void Rays means you need anti-air. They're not incredible against large numbers of Hydras and Queens, and usually the Void Rays aren't going to get aggressive unless there was some sort of attempt at all-in, but they're also unlikely to die. So having these Void Rays as a threat forces out something like Hydras, and Rogue is going down that direction. Zest is looking for the 4th. No 4th on the way. Just chilling. Well, he wanted it. I don't know. I zoned out after my sentence. Like, yeah, he killed the drone. Rogue was trying to take a 4th, and then he killed the drone. That's kind of important. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Deja vu. I've just seen this drone die before. Wait, was that different? No. Yes, it was. It was different. I stopped. Is that 9 gates? Zest is laying on 9 more gates. This is a ground... He's warping into Ire right now. That's going to bring him to 11 gates with Storm on the way and Immortals in production. He is not taking the off-ramp from the Void Ray Highway onto Gateway Boulevard. He just crashed through the railing directly into the ground and woke up with a bunch of Immortals and Templar. Okay, we'll be fine. Nobody will notice. Nobody saw that. Well, Zest is, I mean, he's got 68 workers. Rogue only has 40, 60 drone. 140 supply. So Rogue is actually kind of all in. He's trying to hit Zest before he can do something exactly like this. And he might be able to, because that Nidus is on the way. Storm is now finishing. And Zest was already trying to climb his way back up to the Stargate tech. He's got a fleet beacon. He's got another Stargate. He got all these gateways, but he didn't actually build the units yet. That Storm doesn't... The Queen Brenda has arrived. We're here! And we brought friends! Weren't friends nice? Remember when we could go outside without a Nidus? I don't. Meanwhile, Stasis catches 1 Ling. The Oracle, not finding much. No prismatic alignment because it wouldn't do anything, but feedback holding the line. Shield battery overcharge helping out a huge amount in this fight. A whole lot of charge Lancer coming in. No counterattack, but remember how little Rogue has economically. The Void Rays are holding the line. The Archons merging underneath. The Nidus is pushed back. The Queens are slaughtered. And Rogue taps it out. Raise your edge. Zest cutting through. Not even really that close. Rogue with the anti-Void Ray. Yeah, he built the anti-Void Ray army. He did. There was more than just Void Rays. And that was the issue. And that's usually the issue with Hydra timings. Is Hydras are great up until the first storm rolls in. And suddenly, you're putting a lot on the backs of units that can die within essentially 1 storm. So, I don't know. I guess Zest just didn't want to play out, or Rogue didn't want to play out a later game against a Protoss who already had built up that much Stargate tech. But game 2. Yep, we got Rogue. Yep, that's Rogue. He's right there. Needs to maybe not actively throw away his army. Honestly, it felt like a significant choice. It felt like Rogue decided he's just doing that all in. It wasn't, there was no super catalyzing moment, like I lost a ton of drones, so I gotta go all in. He just picked that as his timing, and it didn't pan out. What's it gonna be? At this point, like, it's almost become standard for high-level Zergs to just expand to their third. Getting blocked by probes, and mostly probe-related things. I won't go into more detail, you don't need it. You know what I mean. Just not even bothering. Like, that some Zergs will just do this like Rogue is doing. Just take the third. Don't even guess. Don't even leave it up to chance. He might even steal some minerals. Yeah, the mining micro here could deny dozens of minerals if done perfectly. He's not doing it perfectly, but wow, Rogue angrily pulls a single drone. And this is the probe micro phase. This is where we talk about the probe micro. Because essentially nothing else is happening. Stargate again? Why not? Stargate's back in style. I feel like Stargate has been, like, Protosses have had hobbies throughout all of Legacy of the Void. There were Adepts, there's been Robo, but when they want something to go home to, when there's a strategy that they want to be able to rely on more than others, even though Protoss does need to have a larger variety of openers than the other races, it's Stargate. The Stargate has taken on a few different ideas between just mass Oracle. There was a time for Phoenixes, and now Void Rays are back in style. But right now the Stargate is definitely the most common tech choice. We'll see if Zest comes up with another ridiculous Twilight build to fix that. But probably not, as he's also on the Void Ray train. Chrono boosting it out. We're gonna be heading right for the Overlord. That Overlord, how do you see him? If you just look up. Nope. What do you mean? He's right above that. Just look above it. Nope. Can't see it. Pillar of Darkness. We wait for no one. Very dead Overlord. Just stands there, or I guess floats there and takes it. Evolution Chamber on the way. Is this for a +1 timing? If that's +1 melee, we're gonna see Rogue make a lot of lings. I don't know what else it would be. It doesn't really make sense to get Carapace. It's usually better to just have Lair Tech instead. Yeah, +1 melee. Zest is gonna slap down another Stargate. So it's a Zergling build. 2 queens here. He's gonna try to get by. Like, there's one more queen than last time. Don't touch them! But the queens, while they don't have the ability to kill the... Wow. Come on, Zest. What? Turn on the Oracle. You see, Mom told you not to keep turning it on and off again. And this is what happens. You're almost out of energy and you nearly died. 25 energy every time you want to turn that thing back on. A single Adept. Now, this is just a medium amount. You're used to seeing this many Zerglings. So this definitely won't be scaring Zest. I think that's kind of the intent, though. Rogue doesn't want Zest to be worried about the links. And also, it's not like it's a Zergling all in. The getting +1 before Lair allows you to get +2 attack. and +2 attack allows you to one-shot probes with banelings, and also on top of just doing a huge amount of damage to zerglings, especially against a player who's not upgrading ground very much. The Void Rays are chilling. Not the greatest counter to zerglings. Baneling Nest is on the way. Lair's nearly done. Is he going to go Spire? As a direct no. Goes for the Hydra Den. He was going for 6 gas, and he's got a 4th on the way. There are a couple more Void Rays. How many Void Rays in total? It's going to be 4. 4 is not that scary, especially now that the Hydra Den's coming up, and there's already plenty of drones. 4 Void Rays is scary when you're trying to get your economy started up. But it is not scary when you already have 70 drones and at least half a dozen queens, which could deal with them on their own. It looks like Zest is trying to do what he did last game, but without slowing Rogue down as much. Like, Rogue already has more workers. He never got above 60 in the previous match. But this time he's sitting at 68. Just give me one more Rogue. We'll be good to go. I think there's going to be Baneling drops on the way. There's Overlord speed coming up. Baneling speed. Hydra speed. You're starting to see a trend. Getting there faster, stronger, and better is what Zerg's all about. Hydra range is already complete. No, he started with speed, and then will likely add on the range. Zest has Storm coming up. And while Rogue hasn't built that many units yet, he's at 80 drones. It's time. Let's go. Hydra's on the way. Now, the one question that's remaining is there going to be a Lurker Den? Is there any sort of timing before going straight to Hive? Or are we rushing to Hive for the Lurker upgrades, potentially? And Vipers and anything else you might want to have. Just upgrades are good as well. There's no Infestation Pit. There's no Lurker Den. The speed upgrades are finishing. More Hydras in production. Zest setting up some defenses at his 4th, but it's still almost nothing compared to what Rogue can bring to the table. Overlord's heading all over the map. Zest is desperately looking for something. This is Zest vision here. But Rogue vision, on the other hand, is the rest of the map. Overseer coming in. Baneling's trying to roll by. +2 attack is not done yet. A small round of Zerglings. Looking for an opportunity. The Banelings made it this far. Force a merge out of a Templar. Or 2 Templar, I guess. Can't merge without a friend. Zest, I swear he's waiting. He has to be doing that intentionally. Waiting on the warp in until just trying to bait the Zerglings in. That's not the first time he's done that. +2 melee, nearly done. Big thing for Rogue, no Infestation Pit. Where are the Bane drops? Rogue has the map, whereas Zest is trying to hold on to... He's got 150 supply. He's building 3 carriers at a time. So, I'm really surprised Rogue isn't even thinking about Hive. Like, Zest has 4 bases. He can build plenty of Templar. About to be demonstrated. Slaps a Storm down. Hydra's back off. But, will not back down. Continues forward. Not enough energy for another Storm over here. Shield battery overcharge. Where are the units? Where's Zest's units? He needs Storm. He doesn't have enough units. Some of the Zealots are on the other side. They went for the base, but the rest shredded by the Zerglings and Banelings. Infestation Pit starts for Rogue. Zest reinforcing his 3rd. Still haven't seen a decisive engagement, as Rogue hasn't really committed. Well, neither side is committed, but it's on Rogue here. Because if Zest just kind of gets to carriers and Storm without being contested, then, I mean, he just kind of has carriers, and carriers are pretty good. I shouldn't need to explain that carriers are good, but carriers are quite good. Oh my god, an Artosis pylon! That's powering so much, and here come the Banes! That all died a Storm. The Immortals holding their ground. Is their battery overcharged? In a split second, he should have the energy. Now, the battery's got bruised there. The Banelings rolling through. Battery overcharge helping out. In the main, the tactical group on a Stargate. But Rogue is pushed back again. Full energy Templar underneath. Zest has just kind of been allowed to put together the death ball. Rogue is... It feels like he hasn't really committed to anything. A few small attacks at Hydras. They didn't go great. He's lost 100 Zerglings. But he hasn't committed much gas. There is a Warp Prism. You might be like, what a noob. He faced it. This is so it doesn't get moved accidentally by any sort of random attacks. Or if he happens to tap the Select All Army Hockey, which some pros have been known to do. Hive is finishing up. +2 ranged attack. +3 should be starting momentarily. Rogue kind of has whatever he wants here. As does Zest. Just takes him a little longer to build it. That's a scary Protoss army. Does he have any observers? Oh. That seems kind of like an oversight. Yeah, it'd be nice to have observers. Especially dealing with, like, Banelings and Hydras on creep. There's a few Zealots heading the left side. Move command from Rogue, catching it. Oh, there's storms. He drops them, but the Banelings close the distance. Oh, there are enough carriers. Suddenly, we're fighting. Fungal on everything, but he's target firing the infestors. Fungal doesn't stack. Microbial Shroud, a little late to the party. Sometimes better off. He's like, well, I have it. I'm gonna use it. I have the Shroud. Well, it didn't help very much. Rogue just kind of getting wiped off the field. Another Microbial Shroud helps against the carriers somewhat. It's not useless. It's not going to change anything, though. So Zest just kind of walks up and punches him across the face. And that's how that ends. So... Well, we saw Microbial Shroud. We didn't see much else. There wasn't much left over there. But we Microbial Shroud, yes. We were looking for that replay for the next match. That one caught me a little off guard. I really thought Rogue would have a better answer than that. But this is kind of how it looked against, kind of how it looked. Okay. Can we work out the damn scores? I know the best of is in the center. But against stats, Rogue just kind of tried some half-hearted attacks. And then stats eventually got the Sky Toss army, and Rogue couldn't do anything. And right here, it feels like Zest just kind of defended the half-hearted attacks and built the Sky Toss army, and then Rogue couldn't really do anything. So, I think the Protosses have pinpointed a lot of Rogue's weaknesses here. And he needs to fix something. There needs to be something. He's not playing for the later game. Zest has played for the later game both games so far. Whereas Rogue is trying to pick his timing, and it's just not working. Hydras are a stopgap. Hydras are not the counter to carriers. They can, but they don't, in most scenarios. If the Protoss has not been pressured already, if they got 4 bases of gas, then the Hydra... There's so many other things the Hydras need to worry about. Usually a combination of Corruptors and Vipers are what helps dismantle the Sky Toss, with maybe some Lurkers and Banelings on the ground to deal with the ground army. It depends a little. That gives you options for Broodlords and to pick off and isolate parts of the Death Ball. And I'm not saying that's super easy to pull off, but when I've seen it, when I've seen that Sky Toss army come apart, it almost never has been off of Hydras. Hydras can occasionally find that timing, maybe with Microbial Shroud, if they rush for carriers without Storm. But Zest has not forgotten the power of Storm. He has brought it, he has harnessed it, and used it to incredibly great effect in both these games. So, yeah, it honestly just feels Zest is he's filling out the whole tech tree. He's not skipping. He doesn't need to speed the carriers. He just needs to get there safely. You gotta wear your storm seatbelt if you're gonna ride in the carrier car, because otherwise, like, sure, they might not hit you with a bunch of Hydras, but sometimes you got a head-on collision with a Nidus Worm, and you need something that does splash damage. And that really is the only way I see Skytoss die beforehand, is when you try to skip to it and you slack on the ground army. Speed finishing up the creep. Rogue just took his third as his natural. That's how it is now. Void Ray. I mean, why switch your build? He's 2-0. It worked. Like, he's going Void Ray into Oracle. And now he's going Void Ray into Oracle. And he's 2-0, so I can't blame Zest at all for doing the same build. It hasn't even looked particularly close. Like, I mean, this is the most epic, hypest series of all time. Like and subscribe for more epic series like this one. Let's go. No, Rogue, figure out how to beat Skytoss. Please. For me. Somebody. Rogue is doing... at the very least, this will be a good test case. It's almost like a practice session. Because here we have a different map, same builds. Essentially, we got +1 melee. I expect Lair starting in a few moments from Rogue, and then we got a second Stargate off the back of Void Ray Oracle for Zest. And he's slapping down the Twilight in the Forge, filling in that ground army underneath. Okay, Zest. I'm not Zest. Rogue. Thank you. Well, so here comes the lair. Void Ray is coming up. And here we go again. Does he hit harder and faster? Or does he slow it down? Because Rogue, I think he had an opportunity. I don't know if, like, he actively decided not to take it, or if he felt like he didn't have one. But I feel like he had an opportunity with +2 melee finishing and the speed upgrades across the board to look for a timing. If he wanted to make game timing, it'd be with +2 melee, trying to do damage to the probes. He sent like 6 banelings in, but that doesn't... I'm not counting that as an attack. I'm counting that as rolling 6 banelings in with a prayer. And that is not a super reliable strat. Ah, yes. Our greatest enemy. The rocks. Our new special. Rock in a hard place. Featuring Rocky Zerg Boa. I couldn't come up with anything better. I really hope to. But it didn't work out. This fight is so underground, they're having it in the Nidus Worm. You'll need tunneling claws to watch this Sunday night. What is happening here? Okay, so here come the cool Protoss units against the silly bug things. A drop is going... It has an Archon in it. An Archon Adept drop, so that's a drone killer right there. Zest is not going for Storm. Zest is going for an outright... Zest is going all in here. He's going to try to hit Rogue. He's gonna go right up against a rogue who's about to... He's about to have all of his upgrades. Feels like we're attacking into the strongest part of Rogue's game right now. That's what I'm seeing. Like, Rogue in the mid... Like, this is the exact opposite of when you want to attack Rogue. This is right when he would love to build units. Zest is trying to out-Zerg... Okay, we'll see how it goes. He's attacking from both angles, looking for the fourth. Rogue spread pretty thinly here, but the Banelings roll through. It's Hydras on either side. This army, well, 10 drones go down. There is stasis. The Void Rays will be torn to shreds. Randa! Holding the line as long as they can. The Queens helping and dealing with the army to the left flank. The fourth will go down. Stasis ward is triggered by just a couple Zerglings. 13 drones down for the count. But the Hydras clean up the left. And remember, so workers were killed, and there was apparently a stasis at the third. But Zest doesn't have a fourth. He just started it. Another stasis. And he doesn't have Storm. Storm is not done. He did not build Storm. Not even during the fight. He got it like as the fight was ending. So he has Templar. Like, he's playing like it's last game. But he just lost a whole lot of army. 3 Archons, 14 Zealots. He lost the Prism as well. I guess there's another one, or I don't know if that was the first one. Well, the fourth isn't happening. I think Rogue, like at this point, Rogue is surprised. Rogue is not expecting Zest to not have Storm now. So it's like he's protected by Rogue assuming better of him than he was. If Rogue had just gone for it, there wouldn't have been Storm done. Zest may have just died, but Rogue can't know that. So he gets the fourth, and Zest just sneaks out another base to the corner. But it feels like Zest was just trying to pick up a win. Like we're up 2-0, let's get him. It didn't work out. The Templar Archives is part of the wall, which stresses me out. Oh, a Changeling just spotted the army. The Zerglings find the somewhat hidden base. Zest decides it's not worth the effort. A single Void Ray. Ooh, well... What a save. So now Zest is struggling to get a fourth, and you really need that gas. The main base is still pretty far from mining out, but it will mine out in a few minutes from now. And you cannot go for the later game Sky Toss and upgrades and continued production on the ground. You just don't have the gas income. So now, Rogue is up to 4, going on 5 bases. He doesn't have a hive. Well, Banelings give it their best try. Now, this is the mistake Rogue made last time. Well, he is throughout the series. He hasn't been going for a hive. He's kind of begrudgingly ended up at hive. But he wants to try to kill someone who has Storm. Storm exists. This is what Storm exists for. This is possibly like if you had to do an example of what Storm is good for against a Zerg who's all over the mid-game and has a ton of cheap units that you can kill with like 4 Storms. Okay, not like that. Okay, well, that's not, there's no more Templar. He can jump it, but there's Zerg. Wait, who's the Zerg? Okay, Banelings, charge lots, Archons, Hydras, charge lots again, more charge lots, Archons, Immortals up the center, Zest dipping a lot in supply. The Banelings eventually doing the damage. Some feedbacks. Prism is here. Down goes the Void Ray. Down to 1 Archon. Micros back the Immortals. Zest down to 97 supply. But another Warp In could make all the difference. Or it could just be more to the slaughter. The Queens try to come up. They do their best. He gets away. No, don't you dare try to micro that Prism. He's micro. This Rogue is losing drones. What? Zest doing his best to maximize his I'm pretty sure Rogue Well, based on the fact Zest had 25 more supply at the start of this, and now he has 15, 12 less, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, that wasn't super cost-effective there. Drones were lost, a lot of Zerglings and Banelings, but it's not like Zest kept all his important units alive. My life for hire, right, boys? What did you say? Why are you using a mouth? But Zest lost Templar, he lost Archons, he's lost some Immortals, only one. He's kept the rest alive pretty well. But that was an important army, and most of it was whittled down. Yeah, Zest didn't really have a super secure 4th base either. He's really trying to just kill him. He's doing what Rogue did to him. But he didn't kill any bases. And if he didn't kill he's still fighting in the mid-game with a Zerg. Which, it feels like we've regressed a couple of years in the meta in this match. Like, now we're back to just Immortal Archon Charge Lot against Hydraling Bane. But nobody remembers that, like, Lurkers and Carriers exist or something? Okay. I mean, it's more fun this way. There's more stuff fighting. But this is definitely not the ideal, especially for Zest. For reasons. Because bad things can happen. Oh, the Immortals and Archons, but going into a concave of Hydras, is there enough in the way of Hydras to hold their ground? The Archons are coming in from the north, but isolating those on the south. 23 probes go down. The Queens, once again, pulled into the front. Just trying to eat some of the damage, but Zest, it looked like he was making progress, but once again, he didn't deny any economy. He didn't whittle down the Hydras enough. And now he's down to a nice amount of supply, but it's dipping. There goes the Prism. There goes the Immortals. There go the Archons. And there goes the game. Zest deciding he just didn't like what the Stargate was offering. They were charging too high a price for a 3-0, so he couldn't afford the Stargate tech this game. Or something. I don't... We will play mid-game against one of the best macro Zergs in the world. Good luck. Well, not enough luck. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. And it's hard once you decide, like, once you decide you're going for that. It's hard to get out of the mindset and, like, switch into... Oh my god. Stop. What were we doing? Oh, it's hard to switch into a more late game composition. It's a mental thing, even. It's a mental tech switch that a lot of players will go down the road of oh, my brain stopped working. They'll go down the road of, like, Zest in the first couple games. He was going for Void Rays, and then he went ground. But by the time he was really building out his ground army, he was already switching towards carriers. Like, he already had a fleet beacon on the way, another Stargate, air weapons. It wasn't like, oh, and now we start it. It was already just a natural progression. So, sometimes when you go into those mid-game armies, and Rogue knows this as well, from his side of it, you just don't feel like you have the resources. Even if on paper you do, it just feels like you need to keep building armies or you're going to die. And sometimes that's accurate. So I don't know if Zest would have fared better if he tried to switch into carriers, but if you attack with the mid-game army, it leaves a lot of vulnerabilities because you got to put everything into the attack. And when 5 Banelings roll in and actually get 25 probes, you're starting to think, maybe I've made some bad choices in my life. Or I need to build more probes. 2 different types of people. This probe being mildly annoying. the dance to deny the mining. Occasionally, sometimes works a little. There's not much else to do when you have 400 APM to spare. Stargate. Here we go again. I don't see a reason not to. Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know what I like. Go back to what you were doing, Zest. Whatever you were doing, do that. We'll just keep doing that. It was working for you. I want to see. I'm looking to see if anyone's completed the Triple Crown yet. The Globetrotter Award. Oh, I'm supposed to cast. Oh my god. PvZ does this to me sometimes, okay? Sometimes we see the same goddamn opener. It's like, he's making a Void Ray, and then he's making an Oracle! Okay. Like, it's not even an Oracle first. So the Void Ray just goes around and kills stuff. And then, eventually, like, 4 minutes in, the Oracle comes out, and maybe something will happen. Is it worse than TVT? Yeah, obviously. In TVT, half the time, buildings aren't in the main, and also you're fighting with, like, the first Reaper. Whereas in PvZ, there's just not... I mean, like, maybe the Adept gets in. Oh, that didn't go great. That's not... It feels like every single game, Rogue is getting better at defending the exact same build. He's adapting! And this time, game 1, the Oracle and Void Ray got like 6 kills, several creep tumors, and got out. By game 4, the Oracle just outright dies, and then the Void Ray has to run away. That's where we progress to. It's +1. Okay, so what is the newest iteration? What are we gonna find this time? Is it an earlier attack? I'm gonna list out all the options. An earlier attack? Is it gonna be just working in the hive? Hydras? Zest is he's switching to charge. Which means he's thinking about just building a bunch of units again. Which I really am not huge on here. Why did you charge up? He charged up 1 Void Ray for dramatic effect, I guess. I'm not... Okay, Zest. Just wants to make sure that the prismatic alignments are working. Six more gates on the way. Getting the Templar. It really looks like he's going to do something similar to last game here. And that didn't work, even though he got himself into a great spot, and it still didn't really work. You trying to prove a point, Zest? Why? If he hits well enough, he's getting Storm this time. Okay, that's an important difference. He's starting Storm. And chrono boosting, so I think he wants to go with Storm. That's his adaptation. Is that burrow? Is that intentional? Did he get Overlord's? Okay, so... Is he gonna burrow Banelings? Come on. Come on. Remember that one time Scarlet burrowed... in 7 years ago? And it worked? It hasn't worked since then? I have no idea what the burrow is going to be. You don't need burrow to burrow lurkers, but there are no lurkers. Rogue is facing elimination. I guess this was just Zest doing... Instead of committing his entire army, he's just going to send in charge lots and a prism. So that is good. And not trying to attack into the strongest part of Rogue. Burrow's gonna finish, though I'm not sure how relevant that's gonna end up being. He can burrow his drones against charge lots. Though once again, I'm not sure how many uses that's gonna get. The Banelings do quite well against Zealots, but that's still gas for minerals. Is a decent trade. Two carriers on the way. Alright. But Zest doesn't have a fourth. A fourth base is a big part of being able to afford carriers and Templar. You just need that extra bit of gas in order to bring everything together. Otherwise, something's going to be lacking. Whether it's Templar or carrier production / upgrades. Rogue is at 100 and say he just made 30 Banelings. Which brings him to a whole lot of Banelings. 39. Okay, Rogue. Storm is done. That is a lot of Banelings. That is a lot of Banelings. And he's building more. All you need is a couple to connect. +2 means only 2 hits for those Templar. Zest still has that prism waiting for an opportunity. Brenda and her knitting crew standing by. Rogue, mission accomplished. He denied the fourth. That's all he... Oh, and he burrows a Zergling! There you go. Oh, come... Let's go to the Zest cam. Aw. Oh, no! And here they come! The whole army was there! The Zerg are coming! That is a lot of Zerg, too. Here comes some more Banelings. Hydras. Where's the ground army? The ground... But everything's just still dealing with us! The probes are on the run! What is this, Zest? Why are your buildings not at your base? He's just building like a cannon creep. He's creeping with his own cannons. But Rogue is just sending units at him. More Zerglings. Another round. Like, Zest holds. And he kept most of his probes alive. Though he might want to make some more. There are now 5 carriers, and Zest is just gonna go, because he can't get a fourth. Rogue is just sending endless units at him. What? Build a goddamn observer, Zest. What are you doing? This is Bronze League shit. It's not the 2-minute mark. He's gonna... Come on, Zest. It's still there. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Zerglings... Oh my god! Achievement unlocked. I don't know which one. But Thor's hammer. Ugh. See, there's blood in StarCraft. We had this discussion. Yeah. Why do they bleed when electrically shocked to death? It's because they explode from the inside out. That's why. It's very gruesome, actually. Oh my god. The Immortal can weather the storm. Rogue doesn't really care at all. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch! Okay, it's fine. This isn't fine, though. He's just gonna go for the base, right? Just click the Banelings on it. Rogue is battering Zest from each side, but The storms are holding for now. And this time, well, this is still happening. The Prism is still waiting for its opportunity, though. 3 corral! That's more than 3 corrupt. Good night. Oh, you can hear the Zealot die. That's very sad. We've been saying this Prism! What is that? Flux Veins on the way. Few banelings making that. Even one baneling is deadly. To itself. $32 more banes. Rogue, does he have a hive done? He hasn't even started to build a goddamn hive. Rogue refuses to place. He has an infestation pit. It's not like he can't afford it. He's just not building a hive. He just has a moral objection to hive tech. He's fine with hundreds of banelings, though. That's no problem. Here comes some more. Only 2 need to make it to those Templar. The Storm's holding the line. Corruptors come in from the side. The Templar are gone. The Hydra's underneath. The Corruptors moving around the Void Rays. The Hydra's having a tough time. The Carriers dropping low on the Interceptor count. Banelings rolling through. Most of the Orphans canceled or just outright destroyed. The Skytoss army will hold. The Banelings made a full world tour there before coming back around. 88 more Zerglings. There's a few Spore Crawlers waiting for Zest as he tries to come across the map. The War Prism did live. Reinforcements are incoming. Will they just be Archons? Yeah, don't take any chances here. Still has a couple storms on a Templar. The Spore Forest. Buffering. Rogue given time. Well, gave himself time to rebuild. Will it be enough? The War Prism targeted. The Spore Crawlers helping. The Interceptor count is in single digits. The Carriers are firing blanks. Well, they're not really firing at all. The Void Ray's trying to hold the line, but the Hydras are more than enough. Without the storms underneath, there isn't the splash damage needed. And Zest evaporates. The Carriers will be chased, hunted, killed, executed. And the Void Rays with the Queens underneath. Finally, vengeance. And Rogue turns it around. It's 2-2. All tied up. Zest has just kind of decided, I had a build that worked in the first 2 games. Let's stop doing that and start trying to go for a ground army and a cinematic cannon push. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Actually, it's hard to tell which one. Okay. A quick advertisement, and then we'll be getting back. Jimmy says we've got to do ads because, like, I'm on in this account. Anyway, I'll be right back. Thank you for watching. Welcome everyone, I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you all about the exciting things you can do here on YouTube. And if you're like, Winter, this is live on Twitch right now. I worship our Amazon overlords. Don't worry. You'll probably wait, but those on YouTube, we need to get to the point because they probably already skipped over. No skipping! No skipping. You're going to watch as many 30 seconds. Anyways, if you're on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button. What does it do? Well, YouTube knows you like Starcraft, but it doesn't know how you like your Starcraft. If you like your Starcraft, your biscuit buttered by me, well then, melt that butter all over the like button and stab it with a greasy finger that leaves a mark on your phone. And when you're done with all that, make sure to subscribe as well. And did you know every Monday, there's the ESL Open Cup where you could be one of the best speed bumps that any professional player has ever faced. You can sign up and play. Diamond League, I think you have to be at least Diamond. I'm not sure if there's a requirement on that, but you can find out at play.eslgaming.com today, or tomorrow, or next week. But after you like and subscribe. Thank you. This has been productive. Good luck, and good night. Thank you guys for sticking around. Game 5, match points. Rogue finding his footing and Zest losing his. I think it's about equal parts. It's about equal parts. Zest trying to think a little too far outside the box, as he do. And Rogue kind of just doubling down on what he's good at. The thing is, when Rogue is usually good, is not when Protoss thrives. Let me turn this around. Zest is also a mid-game player. I don't think of Zest as like your super late game set piece, like this is super cost effective. No. He's trying to find a timing if he can. If he can't, he'll sit back. But even that last game, he was looking for opportunities. Rogue is the same way. And in Zerg versus Protoss, most of the time at that like 130 to 200 supply, 10 minutes-ish in, that mid-game tech, like no +3 anything, Zerg is just usually favored against most Protoss army. Like if nothing happens, and then they're both allowed to macro up pretty much untouched until 7 minutes, Zerg probably 2 out of 3 times, and 2 out of 3 map, depends a little, comes out on top. And that's why a lot of the time you'll see some sort of pressure, something to keep Zerg honest, because you can't have them exploding that drone count before you can catch up as a Protoss. And that's why the double Stargate Void Ray, that's why the early Stargate pressure at all, you force them to build some spores, maybe extra queens, slow down the drone production, and keep tabs on whether there's going to be some early pressure. But if you don't really do much past that, or say, Zest just lost his Oracle last time. Like he did the Stargate building, lost his Oracle. When you lose your Oracle, you don't have much. When the Oracle dies, it's not much of a threat. Believe it or not. I know that's going to come as a revelation, but not for the Oracle. And with that Oracle dying, Void Rays, especially like 1 or 2, Queens, no problem. The Oracle is a little bit of a weird threat because it forced you to move around. But I think off the back of that, it was already a tough spot for Zest. I don't mind the Stargate coming up here, but don't lose the Oracle. All right? Kind of an important key piece of the puzzle here. Protoss units are expensive. They cost a lot of supply, usually. But that's because they're so good. And that's why it hurts so much to lose any of them. Couple Zerglings. I mean, I love you, Link. I love my Lings. Oh, my beautiful. Where did you all go? Okay, Cletus, come back here. But earmuffs, they're expendable. That's a lot of Zerglings. Wait, no, not this. Oh my god, the Zerglings are in the base. Another thought. So Void Rays aren't an incredible counter to Zerglings. That's the last probe. Wow. On the long map, Rogue chooses the shortest game build, and Zest just doesn't see it. After a 2-0 commanding start, Rogue sweeps the leg. And with the most painful of probably all, but even the drone rush build. Like, there's a drone rush build where you use drones to get through the wall. No, this isn't the this is literally just a Zerg rush. He just built Zerglings, and he hit them for a few, like, not that long. But he just snuck around, then the Zerglings are in your base, and that's how it ends. Rogue wins, 3-2. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, check out these incredible videos, and all the love from the chat. Thank you to ESL, as always, every Monday. And thank you for watching. Congratulations, Rogue. He knows how to win. Give him that. Like, subscribe. Good luck. And have fun.